Hey everybody, this is Modern Refugee. That clip you seen at the beginning, that was one of the local food distribution lines, and they have been going on for quite some time. The pandemic really brought it out, but it happened even before the pandemic, and it happens in all the local communities around here. From time to time, there's food distribution lines, and there is just always a tremendous need for food, and the economics of rural living have a lot to do with that. I know it goes against the conventional prepping wisdom. People always say, "Oh, if you want to start prepping, you got to move out to the country." Well, I'm here to tell you, the country isn't going to save people. There's problems out here in the country, just like there's problems in the city, and that's why you see those long food distribution lines. And that wasn't the longest line I've seen. I've seen lines longer, both rurally and in urban areas, like down in Flint. We seen one when we went down there for a doctor's appointment just recently that was even longer yet than what the one was up here that I showed in that video. Now, I know there's going to be some, there always is, that say, well, why don't those people go just get a job? And I'm here to tell you, I know some of the people that were in that line, and they're good, hardworking people. And sometimes people just need a little bit of help. And it's sort of the country values where, you want to help your neighbor and you want to help people learn. And that gets into preparedness. I have noticed a marketable increase in people who are interested in preparedness, just even locally here, in the last 6 months, with everything that's been going on around the world and the uncertainty and the election next year. There's just a lot of people that are concerned, but there's a lot of people who have always went for the convenience route and always sort of relied on technology. Well, they're beginning to see that those things aren't necessarily going to save you. You're going to have to pull yourself up by your own bootstraps, and you're going to have to go ahead and help yourself to a certain extent. But they don't know where to start, because that hasn't been the culture for the last 30, 40 years. I'm older, so I grew up in a culture of helping yourself and making do and doing without. But the younger generation really didn't have that. They had it good for a while, and it's not been like that. And it looks like it's going to continue to deteriorate, or possibly even get dramatically worse. And recently here, I've put together different food boxes for people, and not just to help them out, but also as a teaching tool to go ahead and show them how to use those goods to their maximum effect. There's a lot of waste that takes place here in North America, especially. If you go back in time, back to the 20s, 30s, and 40s, people didn't waste food. So everything, even things that were considered, that we would now consider a byproduct, like bacon grease, would have a specific purpose and would be saved for something. So whenever I give away these boxes of food, and the one in particular that I'm thinking of just happened here recently. We gave away a box of food, and I gave real specific instructions on how to use that. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to get my camera lady out here to film, and I'm going to show basically what we gave away in that other food box, and explain how to go ahead and use this stuff, and use these few supplies here to make as many meals as possible, to stretch your money, your supplies, whatever, because that is a major part of preparedness. You have to utilize what you have, and sometimes you're not going to know how to put those things together, and that's where the instructions come in. But anyway, I'm going to turn the camera around here, and I'm going to explain how to use these wares to their maximum effect. All right, what I have here is pretty similar to the box that we just gave away recently, and I want to talk a little bit about the stuff that's in here. Now, the first thing is olive oil. We gave a small bottle of olive oil along with the box. Now, typically you don't need very much oil when you're using it in a lot of different dishes. Another thing that we gave away in that particular box was some chicken that we got at one of the local bulk discount stores. And typically you'll need a little bit of oil to hold the seasoning on the chicken. So a small amount of oil used conservatively can actually go a long way. Another thing that we had in that one box was a couple packages of these dry soup mixes. Now, these dry soup mixes just need water, basically, is all you need to make these go. But we actually will fortify these and put extra stuff in them. And the two things that we normally will put in them is either some type of ham or sausage, and then we'll put in either potatoes or onions. And we actually did give away about 10 pounds of potatoes with that other box as well. And the potatoes just make this heartier and make it stretch further. And another thing is an onion. Onions are one of those things, you don't necessarily need a whole onion when you're making a dish. A part of an onion is all that you need, and then you can save the rest, because all you're putting that in for is the extra flavor. When it comes to the flavor ingredients and a lot of stuff, meat is typically what you're going to use. Ham, sausage, and bacon are some of those things. Now, this bacon that we got here, we got this at the local bulk food store. This stuff was actually fairly reasonable along with the rest of the stuff. And bacon is one of those things. You can save your bacon grease, and then you can use the bacon grease to make like fried potatoes afterwards. So you're not really wasting anything. And then bacon, sausage, and ham too. They're sort of my favorites to use in these different dishes, because you can add them into, stuff like the au gratin potato mixes and the dried potatoes and stuff for extra flavor and to give it a little bit of protein. And a lot of stuff we make from scratch, but when I put these boxes together, I will include things in these boxes that are quick too, because sometimes everybody needs a break. You come home from working all day, you want to throw something together quick, and stuff like these au gratin potatoes with a little bit of diced up ham, or one of my personal favorites is white chicken chili. And white chicken chili is basically a can of cooked beans, whatever they might be. Cannelli beans is actually what they call for, but any bean will work. A pinto bean, a great northern bean will all work for that. And this McCormick white chicken chili seasoning, it's about $1.50 a package, but it makes a really hearty meal. And then just a can of chicken, whether it's commercial chicken or your home canned chicken, but then you save the water out of the chicken and you use the water, because this seasoning mix calls for a certain amount of water, and that way there's zero waste. And the beans you put in, you don't drain them, you just put them in the way they are, and you basically simmer that for 20 minutes and you have basically a complete meal. Another thing is with cooked beans and with sort of fortifying stuff, if you get canned chili that doesn't have any beans in it, and then you add beans into it, and you can actually stretch this a lot further and you can double it up. I remember when our kids were younger, there's a lot of times our house was sort of like the safe house in the neighborhood. So our kids would bring other kids over here, and I would end up having to cook basically meals for the entire neighborhood. And one of the things that I would do like tacos, because pretty much all kids like tacos, but I would add beans into the taco meat to stretch the meat, because I didn't have enough money to feed the whole neighborhood either, just all the good ground beef or whatever. I would always use the pinto beans to stretch the ground beef further, so we had enough, so everybody pretty much got something. But you can get a lot more out of it if you basically fortify stuff. And another thing, and I've done videos on this too, and I'll put a link in the description for like all my old time cooking videos, but like just a regular can of pork and beans, the old timers would add a little bit of cooked bacon, a little bit of onion into it, a little mustard, a little ketchup, a little brown sugar, and they would stretch that out. They would make it taste better, and they would make it a lot more filling. A little bit of butter too. Butter is one of those things too. A little bit goes a long way, and you can actually stretch it out. And I got a big tub of apples here. We gave away boxes of apples too because we had so many apples. But if you take a little pat of butter, you cut up some apples after they're peeled. You put in a little bit of brown sugar. I think I got some brown sugar in here. You put in a little bit of brown sugar in with that, you got fried apples. And that's one thing that another thing, a lot of people don't make that kind of stuff anymore, but that, like fried apples, was a really common thing when I was a kid growing up. It was one of the ways that people used what they had. Bouillon is another thing. You can use bouillon to cook rice. You can use bouillon to make chicken noodle soup in a pinch, especially if you have a little bit of cooked chicken or a little bit of raw chicken. You can brown that up. You can put the bouillon in it. You can add your noodles, your vegetables, whatever you have. So bouillon is one of those things. It's sort of a prepper staple too, because bouillon will literally last forever. And again, dry beans, you know, if you got the time, you got a crock pot, you can put the beans in the night before. You can put them on simmer. You can put a bay leaf. You can put a little peppercorn in it and let that simmer till they're almost done. And then again, you can go back to the sausage or the ham. This is actually Canadian bacon that they had at that bulk salvage store too. And you can add that in and you can make a bean soup, either sausage or ham. Most recipes, both sausage or ham, can be used in unison because you're getting that little bit of smoky flavor in the into the dish that you're making. Getting back to the quick and easy meals, some pasta and some spaghetti sauce. Spaghetti sauce, if you wait till it's on sale, you can get it fairly cheap. You can put the pasta and the spaghetti sauce together, and then you can throw something like this is another thing that we got at the bulk store. If you got a couple cans of this around, you can flavor the pasta by itself with a little drizzle of the olive oil that I just showed you, or you can add this in with the pasta sauce. And you can basically, if you're making it for a larger amount of people, cook the pasta, add the sauce to it, put some cheese on top of it, put a casserole dish in, then put it in the oven and bake it. And then when that cooks all together, it gives it a little bit better flavor, and I think it actually goes further, but that's just me. And things like lentils, people don't know how to make this stuff. With the internet, it makes it a little bit easier now to look up a recipe. But when I was a kid growing up, I'd go over to like a friend's house or something, and I'd say something. Oh well, what did you have last night? I'd say, well, we had a bowl of lentils, and people looked at you like you were weird. And that's even when I was a kid, because I just didn't know how to make any of that stuff. Even the parents back then, some of them that were more, I guess, modernized, didn't know how to utilize some of those ingredients. And lentils are really simple to cook. Cook them in the bouillon that I just mentioned there, and add in some either carrots or cut up onions at the end, and you basically have an instant side dish, and they're actually really, really good. I got a 5 pounds of flour. Here's another thing that we gave away in that box, and we gave away some yeast. Now, properly maintained with a little bit of yeast and a little bit of flour and a mason jar to keep it all in, you can actually make a sourdough starter that's pretty much good indefinitely. You can just keep adding a little bit of flour to it, take out what you need, mix it with your flour, make that day's loaf of bread, and you can perpetuate that. So that's just another thing to stretch whatever you have. One thing, if something terrible did happen and I had to pretty much expect to hunker down here for a long period of time, I would make a sourdough starter up right away and use that for basically leavening in any bread that I would make, because I literally can keep that going with the stuff that I have here for a very, very long time. Seasonings are another thing. Certain seasonings you can make go a long way if you mix them. Seasoned salt is one that's good just by itself. It's good on a lot of different things, like potatoes, different stews and different dishes or stuff. So seasoned salt, and this is actually pretty reasonable. I paid $1 for this, and you can usually get these larger off-brand types of seasoned salt pretty reasonably. Cajun seasoning is another one that we'll use on a lot of different stuff. We'll use it for Cajun rice, again, with the sausage or the ham, whatever can be put into the rice, and you can use the Cajun seasoning. You can use some peppers or onions from the garden. It's really, really simple to make a Cajun rice, but sometimes this is too spicy for people. So if you want to cut this so it's not so spicy, but you still have the flavor, you mix it with a little garlic powder, and you'll actually reduce that heat, and you'll have a more palatable for people who don't have the taste for the spicy stuff. And again, oatmeal is another one. We got the oatmeal here. Again, the apples that, you can cut the apples up. You can put it into the oatmeal and the brown sugar. Another thing the brown sugar goes good with is the oatmeal. But then I also got applesauce here. Applesauce was one of those things that if you don't have the apples or you used all your apples up, then you can switch to the applesauce to mix into the oatmeal, mix it with the brown sugar. And again, you're fortifying it and you're making it into just a tastier, more palatable meal. But everything here has a purpose, and everything here, if you do it properly and you sort of measure out your portions, you can make this stuff last a long time, a lot longer than you would think. But anyway, this is Modern Refugee. Appreciate all my subscribers out there. Hope you guys got some ideas and a little bit of information out of this video, as always, of stretching the preps that you got and the food that you put up for winter or whatever, making that last and getting as much out of it as possible, for a bunch of different reasons. The prices are going up, or if you have friends or family that are coming over, or if something happens where you have to unexpectedly cook for a large group of people. But anyway, you guys have a good one.